All right. Hey, everybody. I'm pretty sure we're live right now. Um, so thanks for joining me for this video. What I really wanted to go through is something of a really crazy result that one of my clients has actually achieved. Now, I'll preface this by saying that this isn't the first time this has actually happened with this particular client. It's a combination of what we've been able to help them achieve themselves and also what they've been able to build up to as well throughout their journey in business. Okay, so I'm really excited to share this with you because it is honestly a crazy result that a lot of ecom entrepreneurs would love to achieve. And in case you didn't see the headline, they just did 42K in 2 days. All right. And in the past, they've had experiences where they've done, 50, 60, 70K. It depends on kind of the time of year and what they've got, what they're actually promoting, what kind of collections they are. So I'll go through absolutely everything. I'd love to hear any questions you might have because this is a very awesome story and I'm really excited to share it with you and I hope you can get some value from it. So the context of what the brand is about isn't so necessary to the overall strategy. Okay, they are an apparel brand. They are in quite a niche market that has a very loyal following, but the whole strategy is actually the key behind their success. All right, so I'll go through it basically in as much detail as I can. I'd love to share some things on the screen, but I don't think I can actually share my screen. I'll try and look into that maybe for next time. But essentially, what their Shopify account looks like, and I might put this as the thumbnail as well, is it's like September goes all the way through till about the 15th, I believe. And then it literally just goes bang and spikes up for 2 full days, 42K in those days, dips down a little bit more and kind of gradually peters off, okay, up to, now being the 20th of September. And so, when you see this time and time again within this client's account, you obviously take note of what they're actually doing and try and dissect that to be able to, replicate that for other brands and other clients. All right. Okay. So let's get straight into it. There's a few fundamentals of the actual strategy, right? Okay. So I mentioned that they're an apparel brand. And so what this actually involves is 5 to 6 times a year, this client will release like a new collection. All right. It's based around the time of year. It's based around the theme of what they're kind of into or working towards internally. And basically, they are able to communicate their messaging really, really clearly up front, build a certain level of hype, and then, obviously they get the fruits of that. So the first thing to really note about this is that this isn't the first launch that they've done. It's not the second launch they've done. They've been doing it for, basically years now. All right. And so each time they've been able to level up. So it might have started at, $1,000 to $2,000 days. It might have gone to 10 to 15K per days. And all the way up to now, as I say, they've just done 42 over 2 days, but it has been 60, 70, and 80 in the past as well. All right. So depending on the time of year. And so this isn't their first rodeo, basically. All right. And that's probably the first thing to know. You can jump the queue with the advice that I'm going to actually give you and the strategy here. But understand that, like any strategy, that's not just a once off and it's a hit. It is doing something in the beginning, just starting it, then basically learning from the experience and being able to iterate these things over time, get better, get better, get better. And that's just how it works. That's how all these successful businesses and companies do it. That's how we did it. That's how we do 3 to 400K a month now, right? We didn't start that way, but we learned what works and basically honed in on that and kept doing the things that worked, really isolating those things that worked and doing them a lot better. Right. So that's the first thing to know. The second thing is similarly to that, they built their audience, okay, over time. It's accelerated a lot since in the last few years, basically. So over COVID times, they even said that they built their audience massively with people being at home and being able to communicate online and all that sort of thing. And so that's something they've been able to do really, really well. But again, like the consistency piece, once they hit like I guess a critical mass, point in time in their business, it does get easier and easier and easier. We often found, in Karmic, for example, with our business, like getting to 10K followers on Instagram, for example, was like the hardest thing to get to. And once you hit that, then it just kind of rolls on and perpetuates from there. It's kind of like, it's all downhill from there. So it was similar to them. Where they built up, they've now got about 350,000 followers, but similarly to their consistency in their launches over time, they have just built this audience over time and built a really strong affinity and connection. So that's point number two, is that they are in a specific niche, they have values and beliefs, and they are able to communicate that effectively and build a really strong connection with their audiences. All right, so that's kind of two things just to park for the side. Now let's go into the actual strategy over time. All right, so they plan out their entire year, 5 to 6 launches of new products per year, and they do that around, as I say, major holidays. They do that around special events, call it Christmas, Easter, St. Patrick's Day, things like that. So pretty run of the mill, but it's relevant to them and their audience. That's the most important thing. All right. So obviously they do all their pre-planning, they do all their photography and product development, stuff like that, months in advance. And then a week out from their actual launch, they will start to talk about it and promote it on their socials. All right. And so when they talk about it, they do sneak peeks. They do what this piece or collection means to them. They do what this specific model is talking about, or why it's actually so important or significant to them at that point in time. All right, so they start to build connection and excitement and hype around the collection that is coming. So the audience that they actually have engaged with them, and this is organic and paid, of course. It's kind of coupling and complementing. They know what they're in for. Okay, so they do this 1 week out. They normally, or even less, probably 5, 6 days. They probably start on like a Saturday or Sunday night, and then they always launch on a Friday morning. So going back to the consistency piece, by building the hype, people consistently know when the products are going to drop, right? So they have educated and trained their audience that this is the time frame we run off. Be ready or miss out. Like, it's literally at that point now where people miss out on certain products. Okay, so we'll go to that in a second. But the first point there is building hype, having a structured campaign, marketing campaign, pre-marketing campaign to be able to communicate to people in the week of the actual launch. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is building scarcity around their collection. Okay, so in amongst all their marketing material is like, we're really excited about this. We only have limited pieces. They're all custom, or, we've only got a select number of sizes or whatever. So, make sure you've got your alarms set. There's scarcity around that hype. Okay. We're going to launch at this time. Set your alarms. Literally, that's what they say. And so that becomes really valuable because over time, people learn that things do sell out. All right. And that's how they've been able to get these massive influxes in revenue. Okay. Because people are trained that is what's going to happen. Like I guess the dampener or the killer of momentum is confusion and like people not knowing what you're doing, like lack of predictability. All right, so that's a massive thing that they've been able to adopt into their strategies inadvertently. But as a marketer and a business owner myself, I've been able to identify that is a huge thing. They build the scarcity, limited run, limited supply. These won't be restocked, limited sizes. Okay, so that's the second thing that comes into it. The third thing is using and leveraging their ambassador program and influencers within their market. Okay, so when they start to hype, they have very clear instructions to people that they associate with, such as ambassadors and influencers. They allow them to choose kind of their own collection ahead of time, and then they start to actually tease out the new collection as well. Okay, so they leverage this help with other audiences from this influencer, which I know, as anyone who watches this channel knows that is a massive strategy for us, and we love that because you're leveraging audience, you're using social proof and validating to other people other than from yourself that we should buy from you for XYZ reason. Okay, so that's the third thing. The ambassadors and influencers start to pre-post and tease as well to their audiences and saying exactly the same thing. 8 a.m. Friday. These are going live. You'll love them for XYZ reason. All right, so that's the third thing. And then the fourth thing is when it's go time, it's go time. So 8 a.m. on the Friday morning, they go, right? And that's when you see those huge spikes in sales. Okay, and then they obviously maintain it over those first couple of days. They run, tag competitions, like free voucher competitions. They create a lot of excitement around this. And as I said, this isn't their first rodeo. It's not the first time they've done it. So over time, they've been able to really cement this strategy, and they know what actually works. All right, and items genuinely sell out. items generally you can't get your hands on. So people, as I say, are trained for the next time. I've got to get in quick next time. All right. And so that is the real crux of the strategy that has delivered crazy results. Anybody in ecom, anybody at any stage would say that, 40 grand in a couple of days is an awesome result. Okay. And if you look at the trends back from last month or the previous month when they did the last collection, it was exactly the same, right? Big spikes. And, it kind of peters off for the rest of the month as things sell out or the momentum, gains down, right? And then they have like a subsequent strategy after that about, clearing stock as well, which, isn't the point of this conversation, but I'll maybe do a training on that a little bit later on. And so I hope that that really helps, right? So just to summarize all that, they do this strategy consistently over time. They run several campaigns throughout the year. They build their audience continuously, okay, and keep using the relationships they've got. So that's the first thing to kind of preempt this. And then what they do is they basically build the hype for a week to 5 days to a week throughout. They build scarcity around it and urgency. They leverage their ambassadors and influencers as well to help them with the marketing efforts and paid ads as well. So it's all kind of in tandem, all sending the same message. And then they basically press the go button at Friday at 8 a.m. on Fridays. And so everybody knows that for this time, for next time, for the following times. And so that's the strategy. That's how they've been able to do it. Now, it's obviously all the nuances are in from each business and they're in the details of what your brand actually does. But there's no reason why you can't do this in any sort of e-com capacity. All right. So look, I really hope that helps. We love working with this client. We love working with other clients on their strategies as well to help them scale their businesses. So, if you've got any questions, let me know. But I really hope that was helpful. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.